atubaniriza nnyo ku Kyoto International, Kyoto Reloaded, wamu ne YouTube channel yaffe gye bayita Kyoto TV. Olunaku lwa leero nga bwe twabasuuliddeyo wali ku Facebook yaffe nti Doctor Martin Byakuleka akomyewo nate. Mu full swing, he looks fresh and sajja ava kusabako, abaddeko mu ka little vacation. He's fresh. Doctor, tukwesunze. We just want to see what you have for us in stock today. Abantu babadde bakwesunga. Abantu bo bakulaba Hero Christine Nachimuli kwali, Sarah K Mutoro naye kwali. Webali wano bonna abantu bo ababulijjo ba students bo babuuzeko ssebo, then tubandule tugende mu maaso, Doctor.
Banaye mwasi mbagala nnyo. Waliwo ka screen kali kumbeerako nga mbalaba abo nga muwera naye leero tutteko yeah, that's okay. But then I promoted more and I came back and this morning, of course, I went to consult with the Lord and the consultations are over and I decided to sit here and talk to you. I know there are a lot of other people today who will be joining us because they want to hear a few things I have to say and see whether they have something to do about me, whether to critique me or whether to open some cases against me or whatever. Whatever the case is, so I am ready for them today. We shall be talking a few things and I will specifically be addressing them. And all the other Uganda where you are. Senor. Yes, Mark.
All right, Doctor. Tugende maso, Doctor. Doctor Ogambi, Uganda belongs to Uganda. Mu mutwe gwa leero Uganda mu ekyo mutwe gwa leero ogambye Uganda belongs to Uganda. Ssebo taata kikyotegeeza mu ekyo abantu besunze okuwulira ffe tubadde tubitegeera bulala. Uganda belongs to Uganda.
Gundi eri n'engeri gyebadde ebulamu awo. I hope it will not. Your network, you may have to check on it.
Yes, Doctor.
Network yebadde n'engeri gyebulamu. Yeah.
All right. Ejja kutereera. Network ejja kutereera.
Naye nze ompulira bulungi ndowooza.
Yes. Sorry about that, Doctor. Nkuwulira bulungi ssebo. Ogambye mu mutwe gwo the discussions you want to bring to us today is that Uganda belongs to Ugandans. Nga mbuuzizza ssebo otegeeza ki ku mutwe ogwo ogw'olwaleero Uganda belongs to Ugandans?
Yeah, ensi y'Abannayuganda eyaffe eya Uganda y'Abannayuganda is not for foreigners. And even amongst Ugandans, it is not for one particular Ugandan or a group of Ugandans. No, that is not right. This country is for us all. And by this country, I mean Uganda. It is for us all. So, bwabanga waliwo bo abalowooza nti Uganda yaabwe bokka, they are making a big mistake, a very big mistake. This country belongs to all of us. And there is nobody who has a monopoly of anything in that country. In fact, I want to reaffirm and say that oliye bwabanga alowooza nti ajja kujja avuluge Bannayuganda. Because in the past few days, we have seen a return to the times that we used to have. There are so many young people who don't know where we came from. So many young people who don't know what Uganda used to be. So many people who were not born by 1980. There are millions of Ugandans who were not born by 1986. What all those guys may have missed is now back, unfortunately. because there's nothing to be proud about that. What your parents used to tell you is now here again. There is a Ugandan artist who said that Bizemu, he eventually crossed over and went to support the people who returned those things. It was unfortunate. Ebintu Bizemu, exactly where we used to be. In fact, let me take this occasion to inform you that those things have not only returned, they have surpassed a little bit. And that is very unfortunate, because the leaders, our leaders today, the leaders we have today, we have the same leaders for the past 34 years. Those leaders came to power because they said those things, ebintu ebyo, are the things which made them to go to the bush to fight and take power. Ebintu ebyo bye tulina ku ssaawa eno, bye twogerako nti bizeemu. Those things, the situation that was there before many of you guys were born, is squarely back in Uganda. And it is that situation which the rulers of Uganda today allege that took them to the bush to fight so that they take over power. So it is very unfortunate. Mwemwena abataliwo, you haven't missed a thing. What you see, people, mysterious men who don't look really Ugandan at all, in Ugandan uniform, patrolling our streets in every small town, beating up people. Mysterious men in not putting on uniform, but dressed like laymen and shooting guns in the crowds of people. Now, this level, ate eisewo katono kweri, kubanga luli, our own soldiers used to kill us. Our own soldiers, they would kill us. Now they are imported soldiers mixed together with ours. Those are killing us. Now, in those days, we used to die also, but we were not killed by men, mysterious men, putting on, dressed like you, shooting in the crowds, and clearly working for government. That was not there. Kati chiseo. So this is a new level. So let me summarize that point by saying Mr. Museveni has unleashed violence against Ugandans, a violence that our country has not seen before. Mark, I'm going to have to cut you out because I am not used to that format. Kati ndi mu class ngenda kusalamu. Ojja kudda eri ebbali olabe bulabi. Thank you. So, abataaliwo emirembe giri temulina kye musubiddwa, naye kano akatambi ke mulaba is an excess of what used to happen. And that is very unfortunate. Now, when you unleash violence against a population, a few things happen. A few things start to happen. The people who experience that violence do not turn around and say, Mukulu webale nnyo, or may I please shake your hand. That's not what they say. When you unleash that kind of violence, the people become very angry. And when they become very angry, they, in most cases, become violent. That is the natural order of things. So, with Mr. Museveni unleashing this kind of violence, it does not beget peace from the people, and they do not shake his hands. They instead become violent. But for him, when he unleashes this violence, he's thinking that the people will become cowed. They will be intimidated and will not act. That is a mistake, as he himself knows very clearly. When Idi Amin unleashed violence against the people, Museveni did not go under the bed. When other subsequent regimes unleashed violence on Ugandans, Mugisha Muntu, Dr. Kiza Besigye, Afande Sejusa, and all those other people did not go under the bed. What I am saying is, when you unleash violence upon the people, thinking that they will be intimidated, true, a certain section of that population may be intimidated, and it will go under the bed. However, there will be other people who are not intimidated, and they will arise. And those, when they arise, they will not shake your hand. They will speak to you in your language. Now, if sincerely part of your motives was to make people angry so that they talk to you in your language, whereupon you are saying you speak that language more fluently, you are bound to be surprised. You are bound to be surprised because you will find people who speak as eloquently as you do, and probably a little better. That right there is a miscalculation. You must not assume that you are the only one who speaks that language eloquently. Please do not make that mistake. Now, another point. When you unleash violence against the population, thinking that everybody will go under the bed, they'll be intimidated. Again, you are wrong. Because some people cannot fit under the bed. Some people do not see the reason why they should go under the bed, whatever the reason. And those people will also face you squarely. So, my friends who come online and speak to me in a certain language and saying, you see, we know you as a diplomat and so on and so forth. Why are you preaching violence and so on and so forth? I am very sorry for talking about these things. I'm very sorry of talking violence. And I also apologize for disappointing you as a trained diplomat. But I would like to put a disclaimer. When I was training for diplomacy, I did not undertake any course in stupidity, foolishness, or cowardice. And if some Ugandans are going to speak a language of violence upon us and seek to subjugate us, those of us who refuse to go under the bed shall do something about it. We shall resist it. And not only shall we resist, we shall call upon Ugandans to resist this foolishness. And the reason why we shall do this job very nicely is because we have been students of a certain individual who said violence must be resisted. And that individual is none other than Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. We shall resist violence in any form, and we shall resist it very successfully. For anybody disturbing Ugandans and thinking that he shall cow them into stupidity and foolishness, intimidate them, that will not happen. Now, this country belongs to all of us. It doesn't belong to some people. Now that you have spoken a language of violence, let us see. Let us prove who really owns Uganda. You are seeing a few things happen. The people of Uganda have resolved that your shenanigans must end. And surely they are going to end. This time you have gone so far. We are seeing, we understand, we internalize, and we plan accordingly. A young boy, Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, has come up to oppose you. And you see, opposing you is a very simple thing. Namwe abalala aba NRM abatisatisa abantu. Opposing you is a very small thing. Mwe bwe muba mutisatisa abantu, temuteekamu plani egamba nti there are some brave Ugandans among the people you're scaring or you are intimidating. Now, when you see them reacting with their braveness, that scares you. You guys are scarecrows. That scares you. Kyagulanyi avuddeyo. And this time you did not need many in ties. No. All you needed was the Kyagulanyi from the ghetto. Because ghetto people don't fear. They don't fear. Abona abamaje abatisatisa abaana n'obumundu n'abaana ne babasongamu engalo ne bagamba mwe tujja kubakuba. Those are the ghetto boys. Abaana tebatya. Because in the ghetto there is no intimidation. In the ghetto you fight with the mice. You fight with the snakes, anything. Those boys don't fear. What haven't they seen? In the ghetto, there is too much squalor, too much poverty that you live day by day. When you live today, you're not sure of tomorrow. So how can you therefore start intimidating such a man who lived all his life not sure about tomorrow? You are telling him that you are killing him so that he doesn't see tomorrow. What does that mean? He has been living all his life like that. He has stood up and he has said, no, you're not going to do this. You don't want me. Omanyi kakati mwe mulese. I will today I decided to be a little more diplomatic, but as you know, we are facing a very serious situation in our country. A situation that does not allow us sometimes to speak the best language. So when I divert a little bit, Munsonjwe, I apologize. For all of you, there are Nomoas, and some of you who are seated in European capitals who think this government belongs to you, please excuse me if I use a language which may be a little unbecoming. It is so sad that you guys behave in a way you behave and then expect others to behave differently. Now, that right there is the definition of intimidation. You want to come to us with clubs and other things so that we go down and look at you and beg for our lives and start saying, Afande, Afande ndeka. Now, ekigambo afande ndeka, afande, kye kigambo kye twogera nga tuyita afande. Afande ekigambo kya Luwarabu. Kitegeeza omuntu ali mu bintu ebyokulwana bwe bityo naye nga alina obuyinza, omuntu alina authority, afande. Naye afande ow'obuyinza alina engeri gye yeeyisaamu, expected behavior. Afande abanga yeeyisa mu ngeri eri reasonable. Naye omuntu atali reasonable ng'akutte obuyinza, kubanga obuyinza kati mwe mubutadde mu ki, mu mmundu n'ebigo byammwe, nga abehavinga unreasonably, bannayuganda bagenda kutuuka era batuuse time egamba nti tetukyaddamu kuyita muntu oyo afande. Olulimi olwogamba nti afande ndeka, lulimi lwa kutiisibwa, intimidation, language of intimidation. Okuva n'olwaleero tulekedde awo okugamba nti afande, kubanga abantu abo betuyita afande, they are actually vagabonds, they are actually thieves, they are thugs, they are killing us. If you are killing us, if you have decided that however tired we are, we cannot sleep in a hotel, yet we are in our country. We are in our country. But you have decided that we shall not sleep in a hotel, but sleep in the car. You have decided, you have even refused us to use toilets. So if you have decided to go to that level, which is so low amongst human beings, I am sorry, we are not calling you afande anymore. Bikomi. Musiru gwe tondega mu mundu. That is the language. Kati oboyagala nkuba ensi gikube ogimalewo, which will not happen. The reason why some of us entice who have been educated as diplomats and now speaking a different language is because you guys have forced us to go in your mode. Bwemba mbadde mbala nti emugattako emuzenkana bbiri, nonkyusa base, nonteeka mu base 2. 1 plus 1 will become 0. Now you guys, you have turned the switch. And temwali mwerimba nti olwokuba kakati ffe tuli mu mataayi and all that, mwagala twogere olulimi nga mwe mwogera lulala. Nedda ssebo, luno lwe mwogedde kati lwe mututaddemu, ffenna lwe tugendamu. Ate kyembagambye in the first point nti you will be surprised that we can also, in our seemingly foolish ways, you will be surprised that not only do we speak that language like you, but we speak it very fluently. Very fluently, my friends. Very fluently. Because now for you, you make certain mistakes. You think of the way you fought in Iruwero, you think of the way you fought wherever, mugude kava, mukozechi, ebisanja, bishi. Hey, that thing of how you fought those days, that was 1980 something. This is the year 2020. And the years after that will be 2021, 22, 23, 24, and so on. Olulimi lwakyuka mu bambi. We shall speak the same language like you, but more fluently, because we understand not only the dynamics, but even the nitty-gritties of that language. You will be very surprised. In fact, let me tell you something. Mr. Museveni and your people, you fought to overthrow what was happening in Uganda, and you took 5 years. these days, if we speak the same language like you guys are speaking, which you think you speak better than us, it may not take half the time. I want all our young people, wherever they are, to resist injustice. You must resist injustice. You must resist violence, because that is what Yoweri Museveni taught me, and that is what I'm teaching you today. You must not be cowed. You must resist. The first form of resistance, you see, when you are resisting, you have to be strategic. Tulina ekijja mu maaso awo kinene kulonda. Omanyi bano bagenda ne bakula bipate byabwe, baserebratinge, banywa omwenge, bakole batya, bipate tugenda kubirinnyamu. Mwema mwalowoozezza nti mugenda kukola okulonda kwa 2021, mutuyite, mututiremu, mutuvuvunge nga bulijjo bwe mukola, mwogere oludikya, mulete ebifiga byammwe, mumale mugambe nti pate enyumye. You are deceiving yourselves. This time it is different. Abasajja babayise ku pate mugimanyi nkyamu, pate eyo nkyamu, erina ebiteeka byabwe, babikola dda, twagezaako okubikyusa ne birema. Babikola bwe batyo kubanga baali baagala babbe. The European Union has made 30 suggestions and told you to change the electoral law. You refused. You know that. You refused. So we are aware that your party, ekipate kye mukoze, embaga yammwe gye mukoze, eri mu mateeka makyamu. Naye tugenda kujja ate era tukibalemese. Tugenda kukuba akalulu mubulwe newe mukabbira. Yes, tugenda kukuba akalulu mubule we mukabbira. Bana mmwe mwenna mujje, all Ugandans, please attend that wedding, phone wedding of NRM and Museveni. Go and vote overwhelmingly and deprive them of an opportunity to cheat. Kubanga tugenda kakuba tujuze ekibox. Kakati mubwamwe munabusonsekawa mu kibbo. Tugenda kabatamya. And a few other things. A few other things. Nzembagambi, this time is game over. And it is so sad that some of you cannot see that it is game over. Especially, I speak to you who are in management, because I'm a manager. So let me speak to you, fellow managers. Guys, it is time up. For you, I will speak English here because I'm speaking to you. For you, you may think that you have done it all. You have cooked things. I know you could cook things. You have cooked things. We shall do like this. Those things are not going to work. Now, smaller minds like Namara, who refuses people to sleep in hotels because they are the opposition. Really? So, what democracy do you know? Being in the opposition is not a crime. You small people. Frank Mwesigwa. I am really very, very angry about that individual because he's very arrogant. Some people were attacking me. Hey, Mwesigwa, violence, what? Okay. Let me tell you something. Frank Mwesigwa, you may say you are following orders. And a good learned friend of mine came out and said, how can you, who worked in the government, start attacking Frank Mwesigwa when he was following orders? I know a thing or two about orders. By the way, if you go to Makerere or ask my old friend, Professor Olum, who taught administrative law, in the year 1990, I was his best student, I believe, in administrative law. So please, I know a thing or two about orders, commands, and those who carry them out. There is something we call discretion. Kugamba bwe bosi bwakugamba nti lyembwa because it advances organizational goals. Ng'olyembwa, is that what you're telling me? I am following orders. I'm following orders. Are you a dog? Mwesigu, are you a dog? I must arrest him. I must arrest him. Abraham Asim, you lob a canister of tear gas in a car that is closed. What is your intention? To murder those people? Now, you, my friends in the government management, or Mr. Museveni, I don't know whether they will show you this thing because they don't show you most of the things that happen. Someone lobs a tear gas canister in your car. Is that handshaking? What is that? What do you think the reaction of this individual is supposed to be? In fact, I think Honorable Chagulanyi is supposed to be a priest. The man is still continuing to preach peace and good things and whatever. Anyway, he's strategic. That's what I spoke about. You must be strategic. Resist this violence. Resist the injustice in your ways, but be strategic. Because we have a goal. We have a goal. On the 14th of January 2021, we are going to vote to Bakube Bagende. Now, you guys, your time is up. I don't know why you are not backing. Naye nkitegeramu katono kubanga emyaka 34 and all these changes we have been having and so on and so forth, you guys still think that you are invisible and nothing is going to happen. This time, it is different. You see, for Museveni loved violence so much that it killed him. That right there is a prophecy. For Museveni loved violence so much that it killed him. You can't think that all the time you are going to bring violence and the people will go under the bed. No. At one time it will blow in your face. And that is bound to happen this time. In fact, I would suggest that the president of Uganda today, I'll call you that because that's what all these other people I deal with every day call you. Reconsider the script you have written for January 2021. Because if you don't, things are bound to explode in your face. Yet, you can manage that process so well, given the vintage point you have right now, to give you a space to manipulate and get security and life for you after this event. Change the script. But if you're going to go by the script which you showed us on 18th, 19th, because what Ugandans must know, and what we are going to tell the world, because the world didn't know, they don't know your tricks. Mr. Museveni and your mediocre lieutenants like Tumwine, mediocre. complete mediocres. You authored a script which is going to work for you in 2021. Also, you think. And this time you decided to test it. Mwakuba ekipulani kyammwe. Nemuchikuba ku lupapula. Kyemulowooza nti kyekigenda okukola. Kaakati mukireese mwakitesitinze ng'ennaku z'omwezi 18 ne 19. Kipulaani ekyo. Naye bwe mulowooza nti kino kijja kukola, tekijja kukola. Kipulaani mukirina mwakireesa, and I'm going to explain it. Ate nga sinaba ku explaining kipulaani ekyo, I would like to say another point. Mwe mwebuuze lwaki ebipulaani byonna bye mukoze before for this process we engaged in, lwaki byonna bikutuse, bifudde, tebikoze? Lwaki? Why don't you ask yourselves? Ebipulaani byammwe byonna bifudde, ate mukyayiiya ebirala mubirina ku lupapula. You don't you see and say 7 over 10 have failed? Tuli kuki? Ekintu tukikyuse. In research, we have a hypothesis. We work on the hypothesis and we test it. We test it against variables, some permanent and some not so permanent. And then we see, when we reach a certain point, we evaluate. We measure and evaluate. Then when we measure, that data gives us the basis for evaluation. Monitor, measure, evaluate, and then we say, ekintu kino si kituufu. Bwe tuba twagambye nti buli alumwa enjala alya emmese, bwe twakitesitinze twagenza okulanga abamu abalumwa enjala balya bikere, abamu abalumwa enjala beerya nkuta. Ekitegeeza buli alumwa enjala talya mmese. Theory, hypothesis gisikeeyo, tuddemu ekirala. Naye mmwe ebintu mubikola kiraalo. What most of other Ugandans call Banyarwanda. No, please, other Ugandans, go a little slow on these things. Muleke olusi okuvumaganya abantu nga mubavumira obwereere olw'obutamanya obaki. Mugende mpola mpola. Ekizibu kya Uganda si Banyarwanda abava mu ggwanga ly'e Rwanda. I don't think so. Ekizibu kya Uganda tuli nakyo. Mwe mugenda ne mutunira abantu abamu abava mu side za Uganda ne mulowooza nti Banyarwanda. Nedda, be baffe, bantu baffe. Abalaalo abali nga bali batambula n'ente zaabwe buli wamu. They are called nomads. Babeeramu omwo ne babeera eyo. Bava wanda originally abamu ne babeera omwo, abalala babeerangamu nga Bannayuganda naye babeeramu okuva edda. Bo batambula butambuzi n'ente zaabwe, bava mu Ankole ne bagenda ne Soroti kumpi kutuuka Karamoja nga batambula n'ente. Babeera omwo mu Lukoola. Oli abakwatako n'abagamba nti nze ngenda kubaleetera obulamu obwammwe, nze kitammwe, nze maama wammwe, ngenda kubawa buli kimu. Kakati wabakwatako n'abawa n'emmundu n'abateeka mu gavumenti, tebalina muntu yenna gwe bamanyi mulala, bamanyi omuntu ogwo, which is exactly what former leaders have done. Another leader got Nubians and brought them. Kakwa brought them and said, I am your father, I'm everything. Now you are supposed to protect me and do everything. But again, they failed. His thing died. What makes you think yours will not fail? Kakati we mulaba abo abantu temuga nti Abanyarwanda banaye mufune mu kirasi. Get a little enlightened. Abasajja bano bakuba kipulaani kyabwe. ne bagamba nti tugenda kubba akalulu. Kaakati bwe tunaakabba bano abaana bagenda kwekalakaasa. Kaakati bwe baneekalakaasa balowooza nti bagenda kutugoba. Awo ffe tubakube baffe, tukube ku nnyama baffe. Kaakati bwe tunaabakuba ku nnyama tulabe ki ekinaabaawo. Akazannyo baakaleese nga 18. Oli ne bamulagira kwata Kyagulanyi mukwate, because the man is on tour, he's campaigning. Well, you arresting him? No, arrest him there. You arrest him? Okay. They want to manufacture chaos in Kampala. Arrest Kyagulanyi. How did the young people of Kampala know that Kyagulanyi would be arrested? How do they come up with the ebipira and start distributing to everybody? Emotoka zitandise okugaba ebipira. Who had? Now, let me tell you. The science of a political protest dictates that nothing in this protest is planned. Omanyi awe musiriwalira, because you think we are all stupid. I'm an expert at democratization. One of the phases of democratization is called political protest. It is the initial phase. Among political protest activities is what we call demonstration. When you study the character of demonstrations world over, they are never planned. They are spontaneous. I don't know whether in the parts where you come from, you can pronounce that word. Spontaneous. Temubagaba bipira. Things just start anyhow. And people find that they are thinking the same way, but in an unplanned fashion. Kubanga oboba nyiziza, oli gonyiziza, afanana n'ono anyize, n'oli anyize, besangayo mu field nga kyebalowooza kyekimu, tebabako abaplanning. Mwe mwaproducinze okwekalakaasa okwabadde mu kibuga nga 18-19 kwabadde planned by you, Museveni, and your mediocre officials like Tumwine and an imbecilic young boy who is a general. So you start planning, you plan, people must have seen vagabonds were making roadblocks, asking people for money. There is nobody in people power. There is no young man from the ghetto who will make a roadblock as a resistant movement. It will never happen. It will never happen. Mbukati tuwe kalakasa, mbukakati mutuwe sente. It will never happen. You people, you are bankrupt. You are mentally empty. Bomboclad. Naye mwe mwabadde mulowooza nti ffe tetusobola kulaba nti abakoze road blocker n'abamagye n'abasirikale bali wamu. Is there any place where people putting on red have stood on the side and started doing their shenanigans and the police is looking at them and waving them a little bit? You think people cannot see this? Abakoze road blocker nga bambadde ebimyufu basaba sente, mwe mwabaleese. Abagaba ebipiira mwe mwabaleese. Naye olwokubanga abantu baffe, especially the youth, they are so hungry for change and all that, and they are also tebalina byakola, mwabasakinze in, mwabasise ne mubateeka mu kwekalakasa okwekifule kwe mupanze ate ne mubatta. Ate abokutta bwe bababuze ne mutandika n'okutta abali ebbali wa street. You killed the gentleman. retired gentleman. You killed him. He had gone to get his money. You killed him. Pew. Finished. A young boy, I saw him live die like this. Abalalo bamuse, these other Sudanese, these other mulesene ba Chifesi. I saw Chifesi there. Because you think we don't know. We know you. So these people were there. Because our people, they tell us, you see, you mulabo, you were Sobi. But you Sobis, you people, you don't have a future. You think you don't have a future? You are going to go very badly. Very badly. Ate, eda waliwo omusajja yali mubbi nnyo nga bamuyita Katongole. Katongole yali yabba. So let me tell you a story. Katongole yali yabba ng'alina ne science mu mutwe ng'ayiiya. Olumu yagenda mu Ndeebaawo. Yali alina egaraji mu Ndeebaawo w'akolera. Naye olumu yagenda mu Ndeeba nga yambadde eccepe zonna n'ayita ku geeti ya Lubiri Barracks n'ayingira munda. Ne drum nga 5 n'ajjayo amafuta. Kubanga amafuta gali tegakyalabika mu Kampala. Because you know these things are about to happen. Because when some of our friends put some restrictions, embargoes on you, it's going to be terrible. I will reach there soon. So, Katongole went, he got the fuel, they were saluting him. He came out with all the fuel. But when the people started to riot against the government, which was oppressing them, when they started to resist injustice and violence, Katongole joined them. He didn't join Obote, he joined them. Now, Sobi, when you see people fighting, resisting violence and injustice, you don't join the oppressor, you join the people. Kubanga gochayina obulamu mu maaso, bali tebalina, bali bakonyedde ekisenge byabwe bifu. Bali bagenda ebyabwe bifu, diru yabwe yaweddeko. Olabye basiba bikutuka. Bajingiridde ekigundi ki strike mu Kampala. Bajingiridde abaana batandise okutta abantu baffe Kyagulanyi bamukwatidde eri bajingiridde ekidiru kyabwe eno bagambe mbu ekibuga kyasa omuliro, ekibuga kyasa omuliro nga be babikola babakube mubeere intimidated so that in the year 2021 you don't attempt anything when they tell you they are cooked results. Now, muvuke. Bwe batubuulira oludikya tugenda kwerwanako, tugenda kwebereramu. Bino be babiruse. Naye mwe, when the real time comes, nga mutusomera oludikya, abaana 5 ne basonga, ne mubakuba obumundu bwabwe, emabega bagenda kuvayo 5. Bwe mukubako bano, 5 wabala ne bavayo n'5 wabala ne bavayo, mujja kudduka emisinde, ate mujja kugwa mu Lake Victoria. Mwe mwali mulabye abantu abanyize, bakutunira butunuzi nga tebalina muntu, ne wefukira mu mpale. Amini yalina abasajja. Amini yalina abasajja nga batunula bubisula mbaaya, nga basinga n'abamwe be mulina. Kubanga mwe mulina obusajja obulaalo bulina obunyindo obulungi ki, bali babi. Bali babi nga Bulanda Mayanja ono eyagambye Eruweero n'atawanya abantu bonna n'aleeta kafyu during daytime. Ogamba nti aveyo tulabe, bw'avaayo ogwa bukigo. Because you know, my mother used to say people's hearts sometimes look the way they look. Namayanja, you order people kafyu emisana mubagalewo. Really gwe eyakula mu biseera ebyali mu violence wengeri eyo. Even the Obote and Amin didn't do those things. They didn't do those things. Namayanja, you order those things? Who are you? Where are you going? your deal is finished. Ebibyo biwedde. Naye abasajja ba Amini balina obusungu nga balina ebimundu byabwe nga bawe bati ne tugwa wansi mu bitanda. Ne bwe baatuuka okudduka bajjanga mu engato ne bazikanyuga, emundu ze baasooka okukasuka ne bajja mu uniform, engoye zonna, because Ugandans have not developed up to a certain extent. Waliwo ensi kati ezidda ku Uganda ogenda n'osanga nga abantu kubanga Uganda abantu baba bayozeza engoye, olaba nti buli omu yayozeza kubanga ziba ku waya. Ensi kati tezikyabeera na waya. Ensi tezikyabeera na waya, zirina ebyuma ebikaza. Even in Africa itself, va kwena Africa yaffe gye bazizza emabega, eyaffe Uganda gye bazizza emabega. Naye abasajja ba Amini bajjanga engoye ku waya ne bambala ne badduka. Mujja kudduka mugwe mu Lake Victoria. Ebyo bipulaani bye mukuba tebijja kuyitamu. Mr. Museveni, by unleashing that kind of violence against Ugandans, killing innocent people, and you're not even benefiting yourself. I don't know what people who put on yellow think. Because if you people who put on yellow think this is only a problem for those who put on red, you are in trouble. Bino byennyini ebiriwo Museveni byakoze bye byatondawo yellow. Kati Museveni abizzeemu, kati bitta bigenda kuziika yellow. Mwe munaasaba ani akalulu nga buli muntu mumukubye amasasi. Omukazi eyabadde yeesimbyewo ku langi ya kyenvu bamutidde, omwana wa myaka 16. Naye yeesimbyewo alina ekifaananyi kya kyenvu, NRM ali muli akaga. NRM yalidde omwana we. So NRM is a monster. Museveni is a monster, eating all Ugandans who oppose him, including you who are in his party. I thought that the initial resistance would even come from you. If you people, Chiwanda, or you guys I know, if you were just quiet in this event, then there's something wrong with you. If you are telling me you are just embarrassed, I understand. But let me tell you, namuno mukalulu akamwe kawidde olulu bwamwe, don't even campaign. Nobody can vote you. Mwase abantu baffe ku street. Biki bye mulwanyisa, si bye mugamba nti no bye byabatwala mu nsiko. Si byebyo. National resistance movement, what are you resisting? You are resisting injustice, and you are doing the injustice. You are resisting extrajudicial murders. Now you are carrying out extrajudicial murders. Omuwala aweereza chai akutte kasooli mumukubi agudde wansi afudde. That is the mwananchi you think you are working for. Afudde kati ani anabalonda? Kati bano abasigaddewo abaziise oli omuwala be mwagala babalonde mulowooza bafiirwako embwa. Museveni has effectively buried the NRM. Museveni has effectively worked against his own party, his own parliamentary candidates. You have nothing left. Your leader has killed you. Effectively, he has buried you. Unless, as we hear, which is correct, that NRM is a vessel to eat money. You eat it, get money to go into exile. Kubanga munaabeerawa, mugenda kubeerawa. Kati mulina obumundu bwe mwekuumisa. When the people take their country, because that country belongs to Ugandans, when the people take that country, mugenda kubeerawa. Mugenda kubeerawa. Abantu tebajja kubakkiriza kubeerawo nga musinisa amanyo mu nnyumba zammwe n'ebikomera byammwe nga muliyo ku balkoni mutunula wansi. No, the people will not accept. Naye basajja mweyisa bubi. Mugenze emanafwa. You have sent the police to the FC candidate in Manafwa. Omusajja aguze enkumbi ze 4,000 ziri waka. Agabire abantu. Enkumbi mututerole muzipakinze muzijeyo mbukubanga a planninga okugulirira. I think that is lunacy. That is lunacy. Who brought that thing of okugulirira abalonzi? So kakati gwe ONRM owe Manafwa. Nawe osubira nti bagenda kukulonda ogende mu parliament. Ngolese police. Oja kugamba sigo girese. But clearly you are the one. Muno enkumbi ze bazitutte. 4,000 bazitutte. Kati bogendo osabaka lulwani anakakuwa. What some of you are doing, the violence you are doing against Ugandans is also eating you. And it is eating you effectively. Nzemba gambi. Ebiplani byonna bye mulina bye mupanga against the opposition, particularly the symbol of Uganda's uprising. Kyagulanyi Sentamu Robert. Mubiveku tebigenda kukola. Mumutunulire tinyu ya byonna bye mukoze mu birabi byonna bifudde. Ate kati buno obubadde obupya bwe mulese bubatwala heke. Because if we get solid evidence about this, you are in deep trouble. It's just that some of us are very kind and, as you said, quite diplomatic. We are saying, okay, if we make a deal with you guys, you make a deal, you want to go to Wachitura, look after your cows, okay. But even that we shall do against people's wishes. Naye atika nakasera akasigaddemu. Bwe munatandika okukola ebintu ebyo, if you escalate the violence, even deal making will not be possible. Because your actions, the memory of your actions will be so fresh in the people's heads. And some of us cannot act without the people because our actions have to be legitimate. So how do you make a deal for you when the people are not allowing you? That will not be a legitimate deal. The deal has to be legitimate. But the people who bestow legitimacy, you are killing them. You are killing them. You are maiming them. The president of Uganda, the whole president, has not come out to speak anything about the shenanigans in Uganda, in Kampala. Omukazi okugulu emotoka yakusaze. He has not spoken anything. Abana bafudde. What does that tell you? He is the author of this. He is the captain, afande of this. Ugandans are not calling anybody afande because you don't merit the title of afande. Calling you afande is us accepting intimidation. We shall not accept intimidation. Whether we trained as diplomats or not, we shall speak the language you want us to speak, and we shall speak it fluently. But we are going step by step, strategically. Tugende mu kulonda. Speak certain things which we don't understand. At that point, you will realize who is who. The time is up, completely up. Time is up, and Ugandans are up to it. Temutya, mugume tuwane. Tekyali kuyita muntu afande, batulinyako, twerwanako, naye twerwanako, kati mpola mpola, paka akaseera bwe kanaatuuka. Bino bye baatuleetedde by'okwekalakasa byabadde bya kifule. ebyokwekalakaasa kwabwe byabadde bya kifule tebyabadde bya ddala kyobulangira tebyayiseemu mwe mulowooza nti kati essaawa eno bannayuganda bayinza okwekalakaasa ne tufuna results ng'eyo gye mwafunye zero. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my submission today. I will come back in the subsequent weekends if there is no live event. Thank you so much.